So I've just made a short video on the ORIS roof boxes that were for the 123 estate. These boxes were actually bought by my dad in 1981 when he picked up the 280 TE for mum in Germany and drove it around on holiday before returning to Australia. So this is the boxes which have been sitting in a pool shed for about 30 years now since we moved the 123. And you can see the inside, it almost feels like plastic, but overall the boxes are a fiberglass construction. There's two hinges on both sides, which should be self-latching at 3 different levels, but admittedly, I'm not quite sure of the technique, having just picked them out, and they seem to want to shut most times at the moment. The boxes have been stored in the shed with things dumped on them. Overall, they maintain in good but scuffed condition. So you can see the wind profile bars, which are needed to secure these to your 2 chrome roof bars on the 123 estate. And I'll go into them a little bit further. So you can see on the rear end there's rubber buffers on the upper and lower edges of these cases, so when you stand them upright they don't get scuffed. These are starting to deteriorate and I'm not quite sure where I'll source these, as I plan to have these restored very soon. So here's a pic of the roof boxes on our car in the early 80s before the car was sold. So here are the wind profile bars that are lockable at the edges under the rubber caps, much like a lot of the modern roof bars that you have. There are multiple adjustments that can be made to these bars, which I'll show you once I've got them off the car. So you can see here everything still seems to be intact. There's a lot of crud, they haven't been cleaned up at all yet. And you can see on the bars themselves here, this is after I've removed them, but I'll show you further details. Obviously 4 bars. You can remove the black bar which sits underneath the carrier. Those screws go into the case. This little screw you'll see coming up, that one there, if you turn that counterclockwise, you can actually shorten the bars for different models. Not really relevant for our 123. Now, getting ready to have these restored, I've got to disassemble these things. So this is to remove the Orif roof bars by simply undoing these flathead screws. And once these are removed, it's quite easy to pull the bars out. Someone with good intentions has put a fair bit of glue, I think, on the bottom of the bars that were on our cases. And admittedly, I think Dad had these fit at the factory in Germany or the dealer, so they're probably to blame. Just speeding up a little bit here. And you can see then simply lifting the case. Get the bar out. Here are the hinges, 2 Phillips, one at the top, one at the bottom. This is the other side which I've removed, you can see. I've just got this thing propped up because I couldn't figure out the latching mechanism. There's the hinge from the other side. This is the company that must have made them. But the latches are actually in good condition, having been shielded inside. So now that both hinges are off, it opens to 90 degrees. You can see the actual hinges at the end, which are removed with a couple of Phillips. Again, all in actually very good condition. Here's the locking mechanism with the key, which is just 2 Phillips again. You need to have this in the locked position with the key to pull it out, because the key has to come out, and you can't pull the key out unless the box is locked. So you'll see here, even though the screws come out, I can't get it out without the key. I've locked it, pulled it out, and there's this little plate which is what secures the lock in place. So simply taking it out, keeping them aside. So this is the removal of the lid part of the lock. A single Phillips is easy to get out. And then basically rotating the pin counterclockwise. This is a bit awkward with one hand on the camera, so in reality it's still easy to get off. So here are the hinges on the mechanism. Again, I'm sorry, I'm just filming with one hand and using a screwdriver in the other, so it's a bit erratic. Once all 4 screws are out, you can simply lift it up and it comes out very easily. This is once the lid side's removed. And then you'll see here the hinge mechanisms, which again I'm very grateful that despite the fact there's been in a pull pump shed, they're all in very good condition. So here's the rubber buffers. There's 4 per case, and what's interesting, they've got the Mercedes stamp on them. I'm not quite sure of if Oris is a separate brand or they were owned by Mercedes, but the Mercedes stamp is within these cases in a number of places. You can see the glue all over those black bars. It's not rust or anything, although you can actually remove those black bars quite easily by lifting them up. And then I might even get them powder coated before they go back on the cases and the vehicle. So I'll follow this up once I've got the cases restored, and I hope that's been of some use to you.